Thanks for joining me for the 12 Days of Christmas, where I will show you 12 different projects in 12 separate videos that can be used as Christmas gifts. So let's get started. This one's called a puddle because we're going to stack up several layers of colored glass. I like between 6 and 10 actually. Big stack. Then we're going to cut it up and turn those pieces on their side and end up with some beautiful jewelry. We're going to need a few colors of glass. You can make them all different colors. You can do them in a rainbow, or you can just take 4 like this and stack every other one different color. We're going to need our tools. We're going to need some sort of glass cutter, and don't forget your goggles. And I'm going to be using a ruler just to help me keep it straight, but it's not necessary. I've got some cutting oil back there. The bottom piece won't spread at all. It'll stay. If I start with one square, it'll stay square. The next piece will be a little larger, and the next, and the next, and the next. The top piece will spread the most. So make sure your bottom piece is large enough for whatever project you're making. So for this, I'm just going to cut this in half so that I have 2 of these white pieces. And again, they don't have to be the same. So I cut them in different size pieces because I'm going to put this one more towards the bottom and this one more towards the top because it will spread out. You can clean your glass if it's dirty, especially if it's got oil on it. But something like this, you'll never see it because it will be in between the layers. And what we're going to see is this part of the glass. So we'll never see that. So I'm not even going to bother cleaning that off. So I feel like I have enough. I'm going to start stacking it. All right, I'm gonna stack these in the kiln so that I don't have to move them. And I'm gonna fire these up to, I'm gonna bring it up to 1500 degrees and hold it for about 15 minutes. And then I'll bring it down to 960 and anneal it for about 30 minutes. It should be pretty flat. This stack will end up being about 3 layers thick when I'm done. All right, and we'll see it when it comes out, and I'll show you what we do next. Okay, the puddle is out of the kiln. It looks really good. You can see the bottom of it, and as the layers went out, they got bigger and bigger. So what we need to do now is cut this up, and you can cut it on a tile saw or some type of wet saw if you want specific size pieces, very all the same or very exact. You can also put it in a bag and hit it with a hammer, something like that. But you end up with a lot of little tiny pieces. Not as useful. I'd like a little more control over it. So I'm gonna use one of my nippers. I'm gonna try them both, see which one works better. I'm gonna put on my safety goggles because glass will go flying. So I'm just gonna try and get pieces that are a good size for an earring or a necklace or something like that. Now, the problem with this is, see the layers are all right here? If I go to set this on the kiln, it'll fall over. If I set the flat side down, all I'll see is this. So I don't think this is the best piece. Something in here is gonna be great. So let me try these, see if they're any different. I'll try it on the other side. This is a lot harder. It's not working on this glass that's really thick. So I'm gonna do this one again. It puts all the pressure on one little point, and I think that's what's helping with this thick glass. With this, all the pressure is spaced out across this long blade, so I think that makes it harder. So I'm gonna stick with this one. If I want to use this piece, I can just start nipping away at it. Just so that I can get flat and flat. Now this can be set on the kiln shelf like that. This one I'm not going to get too much because I want this. I want all those layers. And I think it's going to fall over. So I'm going to hold that. Let me go right into the middle. Okay. I've got most of the layers showing on all the edges. Look at how amazing that is. I can still use these small pieces, but for this project, I really want the middle. Now this is a great piece. See how it's triangle in shape? So when I put it down on this long side, on the kiln shelf, this peak right here will give it some movement when it slumps down. Really great. I've got a little bit bigger kiln shelf over there, so maybe I'll transfer them over to that, and that way I can get them all in at the same time. And I'll show you what they look like when they come out. Okay, our puddles are out of the kiln and they are gorgeous. I realized that I missed one, so that'll go in another firing. So now I need to pick which one I want. I like this copper bale with these colors, so let me find something that goes with it. I think I'm going to do that one. It's very petite. I like it. That's the size pendant I wear. So it's the kind of gift that I'd like to give. So let me set those aside, and I'm going to put this bale on. You can use your Dremel, or you can use one of these little tools that you can get at a hardware store. And all I do is rough up the back and glue this on with my E6000. Make sure when you're roughing it up that you're using a mask and your safety goggles. Okay, that's perfect. Now everyone does their bales differently. This is how I like to do my bales. I put a little bit on and move it around a bit, but take off the excess. If I get too much on there, then I'll take off the excess. I like to set the bale down and put this onto the bale. I get to press really hard that way. I turn it over and make sure it's centered and straight. Check it one more time. Yep, I think that looks great. So now I will let this dry just like this for 24 hours. And then I will take this on a cookie sheet, one that I only use for glass, and put it in an oven or a toaster oven at 270 degrees for 20 minutes. And then I take it out, let it cool to room temperature, and it's ready to wear. Now, as far as these, if you want to make all pendants, you can. You've got great variety to pick from. You can also put these all together and you can fuse these into one and make a beautiful little tray out of this. I went ahead and piled these up in the kiln and fused them together so you can kind of see the different pieces here. So at this point I can round it off with maybe with my grinder or with my flat lap, and then it would make a nice round coaster, or I could slump it into a little trivet bowl. Lots of options with lots of detail in there. So I think it came out pretty nice, and I'll save it for something in the future. So thanks for watching. Be cool, honey bunnies. Bye.